Billionaire Kosuke Nazaki was very loving and abundant in his relationships. This 77-year-old man had relationship with 4,000 women. The businessman did not miss a single opportunity to be with young, beautiful girls. In 2017, the elderly Kosuke was able to charm the 22-year-old Saki Sudo, and he was overjoyed when she responded to his feelings. Soon after, he proposed to her, unaware that by marrying the beautiful Saki, he was signing his own death certificate. This story takes place in the Japanese city of Tanabe, located in Wakayama Prefecture, with a population of approximately 70,000 people. The main sources of income for local residents are fishing and agriculture. It was in Tanabe that the Nazaki family lived. Kosuke was born on April 13, 1941, into a loving family as the third of 7 children. Unlike his siblings, he was a tomboy and a bully, struggling academically and eventually dropping out of university to help his parents run their liquor store. His parents were never wealthy, so they gratefully accepted his assistance. Working in the liquor store, Kosuke became so obsessed with money that within a few years, he was able to significantly increase the family's income. As time passed, Kosuke's parents grew old and died, and their inheritance was divided among the children. He immediately invested the money in developing his own business and became a moneylender, borrowing at high interest rates. At that time, there were no restrictions on interest rates, allowing Kosuke's income to grow exponentially. He was a dishonest moneylender, earning a substantial amount from other people's debts, which led to constant conflicts with his siblings, who had no way of making money. As his earnings increased, Kosuke opened other businesses, collecting scrap metal and even selling condoms, delivering them directly to customers' homes. He was an entrepreneur at heart. Despite the absence of profitable business reports, it was clear that most of his income stemmed from debt collection. As he matured, Kosuke began to engage seriously in real estate construction and opened a chain of liquor stores. He was not above illegal activities, having faced criminal charges for tax evasion. In his personal life, he was an experienced lover and considered sex the meaning of his life. Even when selling condoms, he often offered women additional services. According to rumors, over his lifetime, Kosuke had been with 4,000 women, spending approximately $20 million on them. In an interview, he confessed, "When I meet a woman of my type, tall and sensual, I immediately say, I want to go on a date and have sex. If she agrees, I give her 400,000 yen, or about $3,000. Kosuke loved throwing lavish parties and was generous with his spending, all while profiting from his borrowers. In 1998, he even received a gunshot wound from an old acquaintance he tried to deceive. In 2016, he published his autobiography Don Juan from Kishu, which became a bestseller in Japan. By 2017, Kosuke Nazaki was so wealthy that he could afford anything he desired. He showered women with cash in exchange for companionship, owned luxury cars and several large houses, and traveled the world in business class, living a life of luxury. At 77, he remained sexually active, didn't smoke, and did not use drugs. He lived in a spacious house with his beloved dog, Eva, often joking that she would inherit his fortune. Kosuke had been married twice before, but both marriages ended in divorce. In the fall of 2017, he met a young woman named Saki Sudo, who was 55 years his junior. They met at Tokyo Airport, where Kosuke first noticed Saki in the crowd and invited her to have coffee with him. Months later, they married, and his relatives expressed disbelief, thinking Kosuke had lost his mind marrying someone so much younger. Saki was born in 1996 in Sapporo, Hokkaido. She came from a wealthy family but was bullied for her academic struggles. After her parents began buying her branded clothes and jewelry, she realized that money held significant power. Saki pursued modeling but only achieved minor success in adult films. Eventually, she moved to Tokyo and worked as a cosmetologist without much success. In February 2018, Kosuke and Saki officially became husband and wife. He promised her freedom from household chores, stating that he would pay her 1 million yen per month for spending money. The newlyweds enjoyed a lavish lifestyle, dining at upscale restaurants and driving luxury cars. It seemed Kosuke had found happiness with the woman he loved. However, their happiness was short-lived. After just 3 months of marriage, 77-year-old Kosuke was found unconscious in his bedroom. A few hours later, he died in the hospital. It's important to mention that 18 days before his death, another tragedy struck the Nazaki house. On the morning of May 6, 2018, Kosuke Nazaki was awakened by the loud whimpering of his dog, Eva. The animal was lying on the floor, twitching uncontrollably. It was clear that Eva was experiencing severe pain. As a caring owner, Kosuke immediately prepared to take her to the veterinarian. Unfortunately, just a few minutes later, Eva lost consciousness and stopped breathing. She died right in Kosuke's arms. The man loved this dog very much. She had lived with him for 10 years and had become a true, loyal friend. Eva was Kosuke's pride and joy, so after her sudden death, he began to grieve deeply. The very next day, on May 7th, Kosuke invited a monk to conduct a farewell ceremony for Eva. The dog's body remained in the house as Kosuke carefully prepared for the funeral of his devoted friend. 18 days after Eva's death on May 24th, Kosuke himself was found unconscious in his bedroom. He was completely naked and lay on the floor in a strange, unnatural position. The billionaire was immediately taken to the hospital, where doctors did everything they could, but alas, they were unable to help him. He died in the hospital without regaining consciousness. An autopsy revealed that Kosuke's blood contained a lethal dose of prohibited substances. It was later confirmed that the cause of his death was acute heart failure caused by methamphetamine. This was strange, as Kosuke had written in his autobiography that he did not use any psychoactive substances or stimulants. In fact, he was an ardent opponent of such things. No traces of injections were found on Kosuke's body, indicating that he most likely ingested the drugs orally. Detectives reviewed recordings from CCTV cameras and found that the only people in the house at the time of the tragedy were his young wife, Saki, and the housekeeper. On May 24th, Kosuke had been at home all day, and the housekeeper was also present for most of the day, only leaving at 4 p.m. to run errands. After 6 p.m., Kosuke went upstairs to make a few phone calls, while the housekeeper returned and sat down to watch TV with Saki on the ground floor. Around 8 p.m., they heard a dull thud from above, similar to a blow. The housekeeper asked Saki to check on Kosuke, but she shrugged and continued watching TV. By 10 p.m., concerned about the silence, the housekeeper urged Saki to check again. The two of them went upstairs and discovered the disturbing sight of Kosuke lying unconscious on the floor. Within a couple of hours, he died in the hospital. Some speculated that Kosuke might have chosen to end his own life, especially given that he was preparing for the funeral of his beloved dog. But it was unlikely he wanted to die at that moment. The only people who could have been involved in his death were either his housekeeper or his wife. However, the housekeeper had worked for Kosuke for 10 years and had no motive to harm him. Thus, suspicion fell on Saki Sudo, who had been married to Kosuke for only 3 months. Upon his death, she stood to inherit his wealth, approximately 5 billion yen, about $35 million. Saki's indifference to her husband's death raised eyebrows. At the funeral, she showed no signs of grief, often spending time on her phone and even playing online games. During the farewell ceremony, she laughed and joked, giving the impression that she was glad to be a widow. Following Kosuke's death, Saki faced heavy criticism, with many believing she had married him only for his money. After the billionaire's sudden passing, suspicions grew regarding her involvement in his death. Saki ceased communication with the media and refused to comment on the situation, even getting into a confrontation with a journalist. Despite the accusations from the public, there was not enough evidence to charge Saki with murder. Investigators even exhumed Eva's body to test for toxic substances, but too much time had passed, leading to inconclusive results. The investigation into Kosuke's death was suspended for 3 years due to a lack of significant leads and evidence. In 2021, the police received information that Saki was preparing to move abroad to Dubai. Detectives feared that if she left Japan, they might never see her again. They acted swiftly, and in May of that year, Saki was arrested on suspicion of murder. During interrogation, Saki claimed she hadn't gone upstairs between 4 and 6 p.m. However, data from her mobile health application contradicted her statement, indicating she had been close to Kosuke when his condition became worse. Detectives discovered that weeks before Eva's death, Saki had searched online for information about prohibited substances and had sought contacts for purchasing them. Traces of these substances were found on the kitchen floor and in the vacuum cleaner at the Nazaki home. Additionally, it emerged that Saki had communicated with a known drug dealer in Tanabe, and tracking technology confirmed they had been in the same place at the same time. A close friend of Kosuke reported that, a few weeks before his death, Kosuke had expressed a desire to divorce Saki and had even asked his friend to be present when he delivered the news. It was also revealed that Kosuke had been seeing another woman. 2 months after her husband's death, Saki convened a shareholders' meeting at the house, appointing herself president of the company and awarding herself an annual salary of $5 million, along with a bonus of $400,000. She planned to leave Japan for Dubai, but the police managed to arrest her. Today, it is known that the trial for the murder of Kosuke Nazaki is ongoing. Saki has been held in a correctional facility in Wakayama for 3 years. Despite the evidence, experts believe it will be challenging for authorities to prove Saki's guilt in her husband's death, especially given the time that has passed. Saki continues to assert her innocence in court, claiming that she sincerely loved Kosuke and had no intention of harming him. Currently, all of Kosuke's assets remain frozen, and it is unclear who will ultimately inherit his multi-million-dollar fortune. His siblings hope that justice will prevail and that Saki Sudo will be punished to the fullest extent of the law. Share your thoughts about this story in the comments and don't forget to like this video. Thanks for watching.